Oh, my name is Jody Palma, and I was my Italian parents are immigrants. Matter of fact, I was born in Italy because my father was he was an American citizen that went back to Italy to get married, and then it took him 18 months to get my mom a green card, and I eventually was born there. And I was only a few months old when I come to the United States. And,
when was it?
and this was 1931. I mean, 19. I was born in 31, so same year I come out as a baby. I went to a Catholic school, Lady Mount Carmel, Ridgewood, New Jersey, and then that was my hometown was Fair Lawn, New Jersey. High school, I went right, and when I was drafted, I was in high school, Fair Lawn High School. Matter of fact, it was the first year we had a high school in that town.
Were you aware of Korea? Have you heard about Korea?
Well, no, I never heard of Korea, really. I mean,
So they didn't teach you in the history class about Korea?
Well, no, nothing. We had nothing in history. Geography was my favorite subject, and Korea never come up.
Do you remember what date that you were drafted, and where did you go to receive military training?
I was drafted in the first week of May. I don't remember the exact date, in 1951. And because of my mechanical background with cars and trucks and everything, as a toddler, I spent my time in all my buddy's junkyard and repair garage.
During your high school days?
During my high school days. And they sent me right to tank school after basic training. I went to tank school, and from there I went right to Korea.
Where did you go to receive military training?
In Aberdeen, Maryland.
Do you remember when you arrived in Incheon for the first time?
Yeah, the troop ship, of course I remember. We got down off the mats.
What was the day?
That was in November, last week in November. I don't remember the day.
1951. How was the Incheon area?
Oh, I don't. There's nothing that I can recall there. There's nothing exceptionally. We went right to my reputable company that the 3rd Division was assigned to the 3rd Division in Japan, and they sent me I spent about only a couple of days in Incheon, and I went right to my company.
Where your company was?
It's up in all I remember is about 20 miles north of Echambo. That's all I remember in towns. Here the 38, somewhere around there. It was located.
And were you tank commander? What was your role and mission?
No, I was a tank mechanic.
Mechanic.
And basically what it was, we were a team of 5 mechanics. And we had 1 sergeant and 4 mechanics. And they were all about the same age, about 20, 21, 20. And you got to remember, most of the tanks in Korea were the Persian tanks and the Sherman tanks from World War II days. But I was with the 3rd Division, 3rd Infantry Division, and we had Shermans, the latest and newest, and there was nothing much to do other than just tune-ups, keep them running. Maybe I'll change a track once in a while, but like I said, tracks were come to a point where tank action was very limited, and I was job to just keep trucks running.
When did you discharged?
Well, I was discharged from the service in February '53, and and then I had to serve, I was keeping what they called then at that time, I don't know if it's still active, but it's called the Ready Reserve. They gave me a whole new set of uniforms to be ready for 5 years, December 1951. This is when they decided to make the main line, the border across Korea, non-combat area, which is, what's it referenced today as the DMZ, the DMZ.
Right.
Right, the DMZ, from the east coast to the west coast. It was a one-day operation. Everybody got involved, except for the guys that were actually in the bunkers, holding the line. And to clear all civilians, everybody had to clear everybody out of the subject area. And the only thing that involvement I ever got with anybody is we come to an old farmhouse, me and my partner at the time, and there was a young lady there with 2 little toddlers. I remember we got it, so we sort of took her with us to go to a staging area where the trucks were parked, and they're taking them all back to Southwest Seoul somewhere. And after a while we were walking, she had a bag of some sort. She stopped, she took out a pie pan, put on some, I remember some corn, cereal, and whatever it was. I definitely remember the corn. And she wanted to feed the kids. I said, well, fine, just wait and let her feed the kids. And then she started collecting sticks. She wanted to make a fire. Oh, we can't have a fire. And no way. And when she insisted on making a fire for warming up, she had a small jar. It was like milky fluid in there, white, looked like milk or some white fluid. And she wanted to feed the kids. So what I did that day, we have besides the K, you heard of K rations, and they come in cans, so on regular size cans, maybe a few inches tall. But they had another ration. Was at the time it was called we called them salt rations. They were little sardine cans, and I loaded up my pockets full of them. So I said, I opened one of these cans. I said, Mama, feeding them this, and yeah, that was great stuff. This I think it was like eggs with bacon. Remember, that's the stuff I liked most, and that's the cans I really loved. And said, okay, and we walked over to a flat rock, and I unloaded all my cans, opened them up with my little, what we used to call a P38, or a little can opener, and you seemed to have a little picnic there.
What was the reaction from your family and your friends and people?
So I grew up with a cousin. His name was Red Solano. He found me one time that our division was in reserve. He found me there in Korea. This was the summer of 1952. And he located me, and I was really glad to see him. And then I got a letter from his sister saying that he was shot, and then he finally did make it home, but they couldn't control the...
Your cousin were in Korea too?
Yeah, he was with the 1st Marine Division in Korea.
Oh.
And he located me when I was in Korea.
So were you able to see him?
Yes, he came and visit me. We were really surprised to see him. Like I said, we grew up as toddlers. We grew up together. And it was just he was only there a few hours, and then he had to make his way back home, back to his own outfit again.
When did he die, and out of what?
He died. He got a shoulder wound that they couldn't control the blood poisoning. They sent him home, and he died while he was home before I got back there.
Have you been back to Korea?
Yeah, I went back there to make in June 2010, and we were there to make a.
2010, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went there to make a movie like with our chapter. We had 10 of us went there. And, that was my again biggest thing is that I've been in. I drove through Seoul once going to my outfit. I come back on Seoul. Drove through the city of Seoul. My way home. I went to Japan 3 times when I was in Korea. So I drove through Seoul 3 more times just to go to the airport at Kimpo, fly to Japan, and I seen the city. I seen the city was flattened. Not hardly few of anything was standing. And when I went to see a city, to see Seoul today, it's the biggest thing that amazes me in my life, I think.
Mm.
To see what these people done, just like being back in the subway, tall buildings, expressway. After those drive, we drove all we went down to Busan for a while there, and compared to those old dirt roads that was there beforehand. This is the most amazing thing in such a short time. Well, to be the truth, I say, at first, when I first left Korea, I always thought this is an awful mistake that they should have listened to MacArthur and went back to the Yale. But that's amazing what I think that was. I still think it's a big mistake that we didn't go back to the Yale, but what they did today makes me. Who would think that we'd be driving Korean cars today? And what happened, like I say, I can remember, like World War II. You know, the soldiers come back. They would have the ship would pull into port, and they would have bands and everybody meeting there. We'd come to, like in my case, we pulled into the city of Seattle. It was at night, and the most I remember was a donut truck, a donut and coffee truck, and some woman standing by it. And that's from there we just went home. Maybe a lot of them were still worried about the Second World War. Because I remember it was only about 5 years or so after the second. Because I can remember this. I can remember the Second World War as a kid because we across the road. I used to live a block from the Curtis Wright plant number 3, where they built the engines for the B-17s, and across the street from my house, the Army built a couple of towers. They had anti-aircraft guns to protect the plant. And this was during the war when I was just a kid. It was like the rationing and everything took place then. We used to go to school. We used to pieces of scrap. We used to say, pick up a piece of art. We found something. We would take it to the schoolyard for a scrap drive.
2013 will be the 60th anniversary of the Korean armistice. Have you heard about any war lasted more than 60 years after an official ceasefire?
Well, all I remember is my history book. There was a 30-year war.
But that's all a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah. You are the one who were there actually, fought against the communism, and there are many problems remaining there, but symbolically, I think you are the most legitimate voice to say that enough is enough and let's end the war peacefully. So you are willing to sign that?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Okay.